Madam Speaker,
I hereby call this 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, House of Representatives, to order.
Madam Speaker,
The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Greg Anderson of the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session and the members of the Senate wish to enter the chambers.
So be it.
All rise. Madam Speaker,
I hereby call this 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session Senate to order.
Madam Speaker,
The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
the Honorable Justices and distinguished attorneys of the Supreme Court wish to enter the chambers.
So be it.
All rise. Madam Speaker,
The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
the Honorable Isabella Olea, Governor of the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session and the Cabinet wish to enter the chambers.
So be it.
All rise.
attendees. At this time, it is my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce to you the governor of the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, the Honorable Isabella Olea.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to present to you the signed proposals of the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo Zavala Youth Legislative Session. The names are as follows. Number 1, proposal titled, Groups in Latin Communities that Live in the U.S. Enough to Know and Explain to Immigrants and People with a Language Barrier How the Political System Works, by Senator Rodolfo Liang Wong from the Opportunist Party. Proposal number 2, titled, Provide Quality Primary Health Care at Lower Cost to Latino Communities, by Senator Samantha Serna from the Fundamentalist Party. Number 3, titled, Mental Health Resource Marketing in Latino Hispanic Community, by Senator Kenzie Morales Flores from the Fundamentalist Party. Number 4, proposal titled, Invest Impact Costs from Outside Residents into Communities, Preventing Gentrification, by Representative Aralyn Cajas from Fundamentalist Party. Number 5, proposal titled, Support Minor Latino Children with Deported Parents or Tutors, by Attorney Daniela Chavez Rodriguez from the Fundamentalist Party. I'd like to briefly address how my cabinet and I worked throughout our signing of the proposals that made it to our office. It was tough, and it was very stressful, and sometimes I almost felt like I was doing something wrong. But we slowly found our pace, on our way to do things, just like all the other chambers did, remarkably. Everybody in the chamber had a voice. We received many proposals, all of which we looked into with detail and care, knowing that these proposals were backed up by over 130 people. We were not the only people in the room. The criteria we developed was entirely based off of what we value: community equity building, asset-based thinking, thinking outside the box, specificity, uniqueness, tangibility, realisticness, clarity, amongst many other things taken into consideration. We read through the points, discuss them thoroughly, and ask for the author to come in the room with us every single time. We are passionate about giving a space to the person behind the paper, because sometimes what's most valuable is written between the lines. The entire cabinet weighed in on the final decision. Sometimes we even disagreed within ourselves, but the priority was always to keep ground equal for all of those involved. Almost every single one of these decisions were extremely difficult for the 7 of us. There is so much potential in every voice that entered the executive chamber. Whether your proposal passed or your proposal didn't pass, it is clear that we all have a place of bravery inside of our hearts. I truly could see the passion and the fear that there is past you, deep within what you decided to write your proposal about. There was not one time where I wished to pass every single thing I got my hands on, but I can't promise that. What I can promise is to listen to the best of my ability. It was rewarding, exhausting, but I am proud of what we achieved in such a short period of time. And even though it felt like last forever, I look at you, and I am very proud of all of us. Thank you.
At this time, I have the distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you the Director of the Supreme Court, David Molina.
Hello, everyone. For the past 2 days, I had the pleasure of working with the Supreme Court justices and the attorneys. I've also had the privilege of working with an amazing staff that's helped run this whole process. I would like to give a huge shout out to Lavia Sanchez-Snow for helping manage the Supreme Court and make sure that everything runs smoothly. I'd like to thank Carlos Vega for being my partner in this process and helping manage the attorneys. I'd like to give a big thank you to Kaylee Kessler, Abby Cadera, and Chris Medina for all the support in training the attorneys and lawyers in the rounds. Finally, I'd like to thank Rethia Parks, Lavia Sanchez-Snow, Mina Reyes Calderon, and Marcos Vega for being panelists for all the trial rounds. It took a big team to run the Supreme Court, and I'm sure we can all agree that we have seen tremendous growth in all the justices and attorneys over this past week. At the beginning of this week, there was a lot of nervousness and self-doubt in both the justices and attorneys. But during the course of the week, I've witnessed every single justice and attorney grow more confident in their voice, their ideas, and their ability to lead. I witnessed attorneys and justices collaborating to ensure that evaluation criteria was fair and properly communicated. I witnessed the justices learn to think critically about proposals and ask questions that inspire deep reflection. I've seen the attorneys learn to develop strong arguments and improve their ability to present them. And most importantly, I have witnessed great sportsmanship, collaboration, and friendship bloom. I'm so proud of all the hard work that each and every one of you have done and look forward to seeing you continue to grow. And now, it is my honor to introduce to you the individual selected to serve as the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo Zavala Youth Legislative Session Chief Justice, the Honorable Rowan Duncan.
I'd like to start with really how the justice system works. So us justices, we choose the proposals that the attorneys argue. And they're not always easy. We purposely find most, how do you say this, controversial arguments and open-ended for them to interpret. And my gosh, these outstanding individuals, the best part about being justice is seeing how they interpret them. Each and every one of their arguments was truly amazing, and it really made me think about what the Latinx community meant and how CEB, what it actually is. So amazing job, attorneys. But what you say is honestly only half the battle. The courage that you say it with and how you say it is so important. And each and every one of the rounds, each and every one I judged, they all improved upon that courage, and it was so outstanding to see. So good job to all of you. I also want to address my justices. I mean, where do I start? So I know the title is High Justice, right? But honestly, there's no hierarchy in this. The beauty of the judicial system is that we're all equal. And the way we bounced ideas off of each other and collaborated with each other to judge these arguments, it's the most wonderful thing ever. So thank you all. Thank you. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the individuals with whom I work very closely and who serve their positions with honor and integrity. Honorable attendees, I introduce you to the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session Supreme Court Justices. Giselle Avalos. Marifer Munoz. Sofia Landin. Pablo Velez. Eugenio Paramis. Monet Munoz. And finally, Santiago Romo. At this time, I would like to introduce, I apologize, Karima Cedeño. Thank you all. At this this time, I would like to introduce you to the top 2 attorney teams. Firstly, Team 6, attorneys Tabitha Kennedy and Yaya Gonzalez. The second team, Team 8, Diego Ojeda and Eva Larson. Congratulations to both teams. The honor roll attorneys performed to the highest professional level required of them. Each one of them showed their best efforts and dedication, but only 2 teams will have the honor of arguing before the full court. A topic to be debated will be gender equality, building a more understanding Latinx community. We invite all delegates, staff friends, and family to stream the final Supreme Court trial on NHI's YouTube channel, which will take place at 6:30 p.m. today in the same room. Thank you.
House of Representatives, thank you. You have made my job as your speaker one of the most rewarding experiences I have ever had. And I can affirm that sharing this chamber with every single one of you has been impactful beyond words. Though we at first may have had our struggles navigating the legislative process, we worked through every issue and emerged stronger and more united in the end. The progress we have made in such a short amount of time by working as a community is truly outstanding. At this time, I'd like to thank some key individuals who helped this process run smoother. The House Majority and Minority Leaders, the Rules Committee, and the committee chairs for maintaining organization and using their voices for good. Please stand. I'd also like to thank my clerk, you may be seated. I'd also like to thank my clerk, Avery Parvin, and my proposal coordinator, Victoria Galindo. Their jobs are stressful beyond belief, yet they have carried through the task of managing over 100 proposals with perseverance and diligence. I'd also like to thank my speaker pro temp, Mario Casina, for motivating me to reach my fullest leadership potential, as well as being someone I knew I could rely on. I'm extremely grateful they have served in this position. Finally, I'd like to thank Juan and Paola, our head staff, as well as all the junior counselors who helped us get to this point. If they could also please stand. You may be seated. Representatives, although I am sad our time together has come to an end, I will forever remember our time spent together in these chambers. I know many of us were considering giving up many times throughout the process, because I would be lying if I said I didn't lose motivation at times too. But in this moment, what I see before me are not only talented and motivated individuals, but a coalition, a family, of young leaders who will not push us forward as the generation of tomorrow, but as the generation of today. I've seen you all grow from hesitant towards enthusiastic when wanting to approach the stand and advocate for your beliefs. As we close, I urge you to remember this. Mistakes are opportunities for growth. Be easy, not only on others, but on yourselves. And remember, before you conquer the mountain, you must learn to conquer the fear. Isabel Allende. Never be afraid of the microphone. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the Lieutenant Governor of the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, the Honorable Gray Anderson.
6 days ago, I woke up at 5 a.m. to get on a plane. 5 days ago, I was overcome with sickness. 4 days ago, I was convinced I would be heading home early. 3 days ago, I ran for lieutenant governor. 2 days ago, I was finally comfortable with the gavel in my hand. And just last night, I realized that it was almost over. Today, right now, that time has finally come. When I stuck that light blue ribbon onto my badge, I knew it was going to get tough. But it was tougher than I could have ever imagined. I didn't do it on my own. I had my lovely proposal coordinator, Samantha Serna, Clerk Inigo Valencia, Speaker Pro Temp Sebastian Reyes, Sergeant-in-Arms Aiden Ensminger, Junior Counselors Maddie Messner and Nicholas Castillo, my committee chairs, Rules Committee, and Senior Counselors Samantha Sanchez and Kevin Padilla, all whom kept me going when I didn't want to let the chamber down, and helped me find my confidence even when making mistakes. Please rise. Oh, just the people I mentioned. Sorry. You may be seated. As a chamber, we sifted through what seemed to be endless proposals, engaged in thought-provoking discussions, and shared laughs that rivaled no other. I am truly grateful. 6 days ago, I woke up at 5 a.m. to get on a plane. But today, I stand before you, humbled and honored, knowing that our collective efforts have made a difference. In the tapestry of life, may we all find our own vibrant threads and weave a story worth remembering, even when the thread runs short. Thank you. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the governor for the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, the Honorable Isabella Olea.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the people who worked alongside me through the legislative session, starting with Fernanda Luján, Carlos Tejera, Herman Byrne, Noelia Esquivel, Joaquín Hernández Gold, and Mateo Asensio. It has been around 3 days of serving my duty in this position, and without a doubt, there has been at least one person every single day that asks me, Isa, what do you guys do? So I want to talk you through it. The governor is still a job that confuses me, even if we're at the closing ceremony, but some things are definitely certain. I have absolute certainty on the 6 individuals that have kept me awake, happy, grounded, open-minded, and they have mostly made me feel like I was not alone. I was told I had to pick a cabinet way before I was elected, and yet even after I was elected, it was still a task that was entirely foreign to me. It took me around 12 hours, one late night, and hurting my eyes off the light of my computer to find people in my list that I would stay with for the next 3 days. I brought them outside of chambers and introduced them all to each other and very awkwardly said, "Hello, everybody. This is the cabinet. Hope you have fun." Now, I am not one to praise my decisions too proudly, but I am absolutely sure that I can stand here today and say that the cabinet has become my place of trust. Every name I circled had a reason for it, and as the days progressed, more reasons were added to my list. Noelia, you're one of the most resilient people I have ever met. As I got to know you more, I realized how valuable your criteria actually is to me. You have become a friend, but also one of my greatest mentors as we go through this very stressful process. We just had one of the most stressful situations in the room, and I remember distinctly looking at you. I can already see the success that you're going to achieve from now on. The executive chamber was made for you. Fail. Even though I knew you before joining the exact same program, and I have told you so much how much potential you truly have multiple times in the past, I can confidently say that you have put this potential to work. You are principled and strategic and always have a way to light up the cabinet, even in the lowest of energies. I look up to you in ways I can't even write down for such a brief speech. You became my right hand and made me feel like I was doing a good job, even when I wasn't doing one. The executive chamber was made for you. Herman, as I've told you various times in the past few days, I saw you during the general convention and immediately had a hunch about you. And my intuition was absolutely right. You were rational, objective, never not brought value to the table. I admire you and your resilience and the way you think and your experience as well. When I grow up, I want to be like you. The executive chamber was also made for you. Mateo, something I've noticed about you throughout the past 3 days is your fearlessness. Regardless of your opinion being on or against the current, it makes me so happy to hear your voice. I love sharing home countries with you. You make me feel safe and listened. There was something that felt right about picking you, and your words, whether they were very extensive or tiny remarks, were always something I needed to hear. The executive chamber was made for you. Joaquin, you know that the second I stepped on the grounds in Denver, everybody talked to me about you. You turned out to be one of my greatest friends. I truly think you excelled in the cabinet. I admire how fast you learned Spanish with us and how the language barrier did not stop you from putting your mark and giving me so many positive memories. My impression of you just kept getting better and better. You will definitely pass AP Spanish. I will look for your voice and your opinion for the rest of my life. So I always ask myself, what would Joaquin do? The executive chamber was made for you. And lastly, Carlos. I truly have never met someone quite as kind and as peaceful as you. You always brought positivity to the table, regardless if you agreed with what I said or not. But I love the way I aligned with you. You are resilient and talented, and you know how to grow. I love sharing our different cultures with you, even if we have very different accents, but that's fine. And I am simply incredibly happy that I've met you. The executive chamber was also made for you. I will always remember every single one of you. Making memories with you has always succeeded in any stressful or negative situation. But I want to give one last remark. But I think it's better shown than said. When our pinkies are up, our voices are heard. Thank you, everybody. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the co-educational director, Catalina Berry.
The Honorable Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, "Success is its own reward, but failure is a great teacher too, and not to be feared." We have all had our own stories of successes, winning elections, passing proposals, going up to the mic, and we all know we have all had our fair share of failures as well. And at first, those were feared, especially when the SOS was at the podium. Over the past few days, I have seen so many of you become absolutely fearless. Your courage has been shining and your ability to take control of what you want for the future gives so many of us hope. You have been at the podium. You have made the hard decisions on whether or not you pass proposals. You have focused on more asset-based mindset. You have learned about community equity building so much that you're telling business owners in Old Town Fort Collins that their business models are in fact CEP. You have learned how to make hard decisions like, do I follow my own beliefs or do I listen to my fellow delegates? Or even what song you should dance to during the next break. I have seen you support one another while waiting for the results of your trials, and I have seen you look out for one another to make sure that everyone feels included. While the 2023 Colorado LDZ legislation may be coming to a close, your journey as leaders is at a pivotal moment. It gives me chills when I see your growth, and it has, especially right now, in several instances brought tears to my eyes as I am inspired by your dedication and your fight. Your governor said in her election speech that she struggled with finding her identity and knowing where she fit in. And many of us have had this feeling, and we will continue to come against similar walls and obstacles of truly knowing who we are. We may never know the answer to that, but just like you did this week, I hope you continue searching for it. I hope you keep this legislation experience close to your heart as a reminder that you're incredibly capable of being fearless in the face of failure. Congratulations, delegates.
Senators, at this time, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session Senate. Does the chair hear this motion?
Madam President,
Senator, please state your name.
Joshua Marquero from Fort Collins, Colorado.
For what reason do you rise?
To propose a motion,
State your motion.
I move to adjourn the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session Senate.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the chair will now call for an immediate vote. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed signify so by saying nay. In the opinion of the chair, the motion carries. This adjourns the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session Senate.
Representatives, at this time, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, House of Representatives. Does the chair hear this motion?
Madam Speaker,
Representatives, please state your name.
Gabriel Gonzalez, Fort Collins, Colorado,
For what reason do you rise?
to make a motion
State your motion.
to adjourn the 2023 Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, House of Representatives.
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the chair will now call for an immediate vote. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed signify so by saying nay. In the opinion of the chair, the motion carries. This adjourns the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session, House of Representatives.
This concludes the 2023 Colorado Lorenzo de Zavala Youth Legislative Session. Thank you.